So this is a MSI GE626QC Apache, and it has a little bit of a problem. So if we look over here for a second, you can see the BIOS version and the EC version. And these are the most recent ones. Even if I go onto the MSI website and download the most recent ones and install them, this is what I'm left with. So I have the most recent ones. Now, the date today is the 8th. The 10th of the 8th. I sent this notebook off at the beginning of the year to get it fixed, and they acknowledged that it had an issue, and they replaced the motherboard and the EC with the alternate model, which is that one. So it's a GP line instead of a GE line. It doesn't matter, it's the same motherboard at the end of the day. And it still has a problem. So as you can see here, I have a nice little stress test running. It's hitting the 960M. If we go down and, well, I also have something hitting the CPU, so that's keeping that nice and toasty. But you can maybe start to see what this problem is. So as you can see, the temperatures of the GPU and the CPU are around about the same now, but the fan speeds, there's quite the big difference in the fan speeds. As you can see, they're off by about 800, 1000 RPM. That isn't right. They've messed something up with that, and yeah, I've already sent it off for this issue once before. They know, they've acknowledged it's an issue, and they tried to fix it, but they didn't fix it. And I pretty much spent this entire time trying to get their support to do something about it, but of course they don't want to know. But only finally got someone to do something, and it's pretty much send it back in. So that's why I'm making this video, to at least say I have proof that this is an issue. Now, yes, this is a benchmark. It is hitting the GPU and the CPU pretty damn hard, but this is nowhere near the kind of temperatures you get in an actual game, because of course this benchmark's only taxing the GPU core, and the other benchmark's only hitting the CPU in a particular way. It's not like a gaming benchmark or anything. It's not like a game where it's going to get a hell of a lot hotter. I mean, I've had temperatures up into hitting the temperature ceiling of about 92°C on the GPU, and that bloody fan does not go that high. Now, I don't have silent options. That's their application to let you customize the fan speeds and all that. But even with that, if we go back to the previous EC version, so whatever the one is before that, I can't remember. You go back to the previous one, silent options works like a charm. You could set your fan RPM down at 3000, which is what the minimum should be, but you can't get that low anymore, so it stops you about 3500, which is a bit annoying. But the biggest one is the maximum. Now the maximum is about 5500 normally. Oh, that's what it was. But for whatever reason, fan 2 will not get that high. It's limited by about 800 odd now, which is very annoying, because it means you can't cool it as well. And even if I use the magical button called Cooler Boost, which will kick the fan RPMs up and get really loud, you can see here that fan 1 is currently sitting at about 6500, and fan 2, more importantly, is only at 6000, give or take. And yeah, the temperatures are lower because, of course, the GPU load isn't there. But that's what makes this really freaking annoying. Because, of course, if this was a proper test, the fan 1 RPM will be up 7000, 7200. Fan 2 will not exceed 6000. And that lies in the problem. The fans just aren't working the way they should be, and to be honest, a bit earlier the fan 1 was being a bit like cut in, cut out jobby, but I think it seems to be happy at the moment. This is just a bit silly. So yeah, no, I have reinstalled Windows multiple times. I've used F3 recovery, and I've even installed from the USB, from a USB. Like, I've downloaded the ISO and installed it that way, and that didn't fix it. So we can rule out, of course, like, it's not going to be software, or if it is, it's not something I can fix. We've ruled out hardware because they've changed the motherboard, and the only thing left is it's the EC firmware, which I'm pretty damn sure it is, because that's literally the thing I installed, and then of course it stops working. I'll turn that off because it's getting loud as hell. But yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. They supposedly fixed it in an RMA, but they didn't. So yeah, I mean, it's just a bit silly. I mean, look, the temperature's around about the same again, and there is still a pretty big difference in the fan. And I mean, this is just them ramping down. As you can see, I mean, it's ramping down a hell of a lot faster than the other. And look, same temperature, and you can see the difference in the fan speeds. And it's one of those things. It's like, well, the GPU is a 65 watt component. The GPU is only 45 watts. Why is the CPU being ran a higher fan speed than the GPU? It just, if anything, it would be the other way around, because you've got to make sure the GPU gets the cooling it needs. It really doesn't make too much sense. I mean, internally, yeah, Fan 1 does cater towards what? It has one of the two heat pipes from the GPU, but at the same time, you also have the memory, the video memory for the GPU that has to be cooled, and that is on Fan 2. So that's really limiting what we can do. It's just silly.